Hello guys, welcome back. This is episode 3 of GTRU, and we actually have stories relating to all of our topics today. Hope you enjoy, and we're going to start off with the movie we reviewed, which was Black Mass.
Hey guys, this week I actually just saw a new movie that had a little feel to it as Goodfellas. Please, Jake, tell me exactly what movie this is.
Yes, we recently saw Black Mass with Johnny Depp, and it was basically a movie about South Boston, but basically the crime that was going on in the 70s, and also I think the 80s as well. But it went through that time period, and Johnny Depp played Jimmy. And Jimmy was a small-time gangster, but throughout the movie he makes an affiliation with the FBI through his childhood friend John Calhoun, and they help each other out. Basically, Jimmy gives John intel about the Italian mafia, the big guys, and then they leave Jimmy alone. He does his thing, but Jimmy takes advantage of the system and uses the FBI to gain information about moles and whatnot. And he also is able, because he's protected by the FBI, he's also able to slowly rise and become the biggest crime lord in South Boston. It was really good. I gave it about an 8 out of 10. Honestly, Johnny Depp was fabulous in this movie. He portrayed Jimmy perfectly. He psychopathic. Honestly, it was scary watching him because he didn't know who he was gonna kill. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna kill this person. He's just gonna randomly shoot this person. You know what I mean? Like the one girl he just choked to death.
Oh my god, I was not expecting that. I did expect it a little bit, but I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, the thing with you kind of expected him to kill her, and like it was pretty cool part of the movie. You were kind of expecting him to kill her, but at the same time you're like, is he really gonna do it? Yeah, because it was like leading up to it. It was very suspenseful.
Same with his childhood friend's wife. When he went up to the room, you were a little bit like, ooh,
touching
shit.
her, like rape her. It was a suspenseful movie. True story too. I definitely check it out, and it does have a lot of Goodfellas feeling. It starts out with his colleagues. Actually, they're all in jail, and they're basically going through his story of the crimes they committed and whatnot. It was very good. Definitely check it out. What rating did you give it, Shane?
Honestly, I'm sorry to say this, but I gave it a 7 out of 10. Maybe it's because I didn't watch the trailer. I actually like to do that. I don't want to watch the trailers before I see the movie, so I get like a full feel of, wow, this movie is going to be different. It's not going to have anything else. I liked it enough, but from watching from the beginning to end, I felt that it was not my cup of tea to say. Being that it did explain his story, I guess with these kinds of movies, I want to hear like the backstory, like not the backstory, the back talking about the guy. Like in Goodfellas, he basically talked behind the movie. He said, "Oh, this is when this happened," yada yada. I like that little aspect.
Those are awesome. Like a lot of movies do that. Like
oh, the new movie with what's his name, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, I like
that. That's why Goodfellas a lot like that.
Yeah.
The way it was set up, though, like the mafia thing and how they jumped from each aspect, that's what really made it really feel like Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And Dexter, too, got the whole Dexter show. He does back talk of his thoughts, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Movies like that are pretty neat.
But yeah, I definitely did recommend that they used, not Robert Jr., Johnny Depp for it. I'm actually really glad that they used Johnny Depp for it instead of anyone else. He played the part very well as Jimmy.
All right. And now moving on to Z Nation Season 2, Episode 3. All right, so now Z Nation. Z Nation is moving forward, and it's doing very well this season. A lot better than last season, I think. Episode 3 it reminded me a lot of the movie Mad Max. It was basically throughout the whole episode, they're fighting humans and zombies on like a moving truck. So after episode 2, they were able to recapture Murphy, and they would come across this big zombie tanker. And they saved the guy from a group of bandits, and the guy offers for them to come with him, and he's going further into Canada because the zombies don't like the cold. So basically, they go with him, but then the bandits, they attack them, and then there's these new zombies now they're called blasters, and they're very ferocious. Basically, from season 1, if you remember, if you watched it, the end there was those bombs that went off. Well, and then the survivors, they escaped in episode 1 at the very beginning. Well, some of the people that were killed, it actually did something to their brain. the radiation from those bombs actually made their brains scrambled. So now not only can Murphy not control them as he usually can, now they're more ferocious and faster. So they're a lot harder to kill than they have been, and that's why they're called blasters. And they have like they're all in that area because that's where the bombs went off. The episode I gave about 9 out of 10. It wasn't as intense as last week's, but it was very good. Like I said, the whole chase scene felt like the new Mad Max movie, so it was intense in that point. What happened? Murphy, he got away again. They had a car that was following them, and throughout all the commotion, Murphy was able to get in the car with Cassandra, who was a girl that was infected, but Murphy saved her with his blood, and now he's able to control her. So she followed him, and their new compadre, as Doc calls him. Basically, he's related to the guy that was running the zombie tanker, basically, and that guy was funny too because he had this new thing called Z-weed, and it was basically marijuana that was made with the remains of zombies, and it does something to you like crazy. It's like a very strong. It was humorous too because he had Doc, Murphy, and the new compadre spoken. And
let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Exactly what does the Z-weed do to you?
It's very strong strain. Like I can't explain it. I feel like it made them a lot more focused, especially Murphy, because he has zombie blood in him.
It's like a cocaine type of substance.
Yeah, because then he gave some to Cassandra, and she became more focused as well. Like, it doesn't really say it becomes, but you can tell from the way they act. Like, she was able to jump so much further. It gave her more of a power in a way. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
They set that all up. Again, the funniest part was probably Doc and Murphy when they were like, "Will there be snacks?" And then Doc's like, "You mean munchies?" And it's like, it was funny. And then at the end of the episode, like you said, Murphy got separated, and now they have to find him again. And they also lost the zombie tanker to the blasters. So now, but the guy at the end was able to sacrifice himself, and they were able to, and he detached the truck part because the truck was part of a huge thing, like it was connected, and there was a bunch of people in the back, like he was refuging, and basically when they attacked, he disconnected it, but he died because the blasters ate him at the end. So basically they took his truck that he left for them, and now they're going after Murphy, and it looks like he's going to Minneapolis for some reason. So we'll see how that happens next week, but definitely 9 out of 10. Can't wait for next week. And now we're moving on to another zombie flick.
Fear of the Walking Dead.
There we go.
Now to the Fear of the Walking Dead. Let me first give you my rating behind it. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Being that I actually liked how it felt not exactly, but actually felt a lot like the first and second episode with there's action, story behind it. It was not just like the third episode, how it was very dry. Well, the beginning of the episode started out with a guy named Stress?
Yes. He's a new character. He's locked in a cage with Nick, and he is very I don't know, his motives are unclear. They try to take Nick away because it seems they think he's getting sick, but then Stratus saved him, and he gave his golden watch to the guard on duty to let him in, to keep him in the cage. And I don't know why they did that. I'm hoping they clarify it more next week.
Well, actually, do you remember how he said to Nick how he was an asset to him? What do you think that could have meant?
That Nick's an asset to
him?
Yeah. Maybe this episode, it kind of, I feel like it's going to be all explained in the finale. It's a penultimate, so they're setting up this last episode. And I feel like Stratus is going to use Nick somehow. I don't know how, but and we don't know his intentions. He could be a bad guy, a good guy, but he's very mysterious right now. And that's, you can't really get a read on him, what his true motives are. Which is pretty cool. I like that about the episode. What else?
Moyers and Travis.
Oh yeah, Travis is trying to figure out where everyone is at, and Moyers, he's the leader of the whole quarantine at the time. He's like, "Oh, I'll take you," and then they ended up going to a zombie ambush, and Moyers didn't come back. So
we don't even know if he's dead.
Yeah. and Travis is SOL. Now they're back to square one for him.
Mm.
He's not the only one looking for his people. He also had the Salazars. You have to also remember that they took Daniel's wife Griselda, and Daniel was very liked his character a lot in this episode because he tortured Ophelia's boyfriend Sean, who was also a soldier, and he tortured him for information on where they're at. And they also learned this new thing called Cobalt, an initiative that is going to be launched in like the next episode, and basically they're just leaving everyone.
Yeah, they're not caring about the civilians.
Yeah, like they're just going home. It's because, and also you can see how it's starting to pan out like that because we had also another interesting storyline. You had Chris and Alicia, who went to remember they went to that mansion. They trashed everything.
They didn't care. They were just breaking everything they could see.
Another thing about that too is very weird is that you kind of get a hint that something happened between them because. Remember in episode 3 when she punched him?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like there's some kind of like tension there. I don't know if
I think it's a love tension. Actually,
I feel like maybe he liked her. She didn't feel the same, or something.
But now she's like,
or maybe they dated or something, and something. They haven't really clarified that. But the point I was getting at with Chris and Alicia, after they're done with all that, there's a curfew, and when they're walking out, the soldiers drove right by them, and they knew they were there.
They didn't even care.
They didn't care. So that's what I mean. Cobalt seems to be starting to launch. And another thing too was another mysterious part was where the heck does Daniel go at the end of that? Remember he went at the end, he hit this big stadium.
Oh, it actually honestly looked like
the Lakers stadium.
Yeah,
like it looked like a big either football stadium or a basketball stadium. And there's about two. From the size of that, you gotta say there's about 2,000 walkers in there.
At least. But I understand why exactly he went there.
This episode, like I said, it's setting up for the finale. I feel like he's going to use that stadium somehow to break his wife out. And another part, actually, speaking of his wife, Travis' ex-wife, Liza, has been helping with the medical patients, and Griselda, Daniel's wife, has died. They cut her foot off. Which I don't understand because her foot was not that bad. She had maybe a broken ankle, was infected because she fell in episode 3 during that whole riot. But they cut it off and she died of blood loss. And then that's when Liza learns that you have to shoot them in the head to make sure that they're down because they took that. Remember the
pole thing.
And they just shot her in the head. And Daniel, and I feel bad for Daniel because I feel like he's trying to break them out, not knowing that his wife's dead. So it's going to be interesting to see how he takes that all next week when he discovers it, if he discovers it. But it looks like next episode is leading to their escape from that place. And I feel like next season, we'll talk about that, but I feel like next season will be a little bit different. Like I said, this whole season seems to just be introducing the concept of the world ending from zombies. But it's been a pretty decent show. It's a lot of people judged it because it's not like The Walking Dead, and people expecting kill all right away. But they don't understand that it's just the beginning. It's going to build up. It's more of a drama than anything right now. It's very enjoyable. I got 8.5. Exactly. I gave it an 8.5 as well. Other than that, that's about it for Fear the Walking Dead. We'll find out and let you know about the season finale next episode. But we're going to move on to other shows. Next up is Gotham Season 2, Episode 2. All right, now on to Gotham. Gotham has really changed now. This is the second episode. And honestly, after this episode, not only has, the way the story is being told, like I told you last week, it's been more serialized, but now the entire tone of the show has changed in a way that's different from any other show. I'll get more into that. On this episode, nothing good happened. When the Gotham trailer first came out, it was specifically called, and it still is, Rise of the Villains, and this episode reflects on that very good. No good guy got anything good happening to them in this episode. You had the new villains, Theo and his sister Tigress, and they basically they broke out the Joker and Barbara and a few other inmates. And now they're known as the Maniacs. And the Maniacs is actually a little supergroup in the Batman series, but it's different because it's, a different take. But basically the Maniacs now, Theo's having them spread chaos throughout Gotham. They're trying. We're still not sure what his true motives are, like what he has planned for Gotham, but whatever it is not good. The Joker runs the Maniacs, and it was a very intense episode. Like I said, Joker won every step of the way. Like no one could stop him. Like first he tried to set a whole busload of cheerleaders on fire.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it was, and he's also, and like I said, this Joker, the guy who plays him, is very good. He reminds me a lot of like Heath Ledger, and also Jack Nicholson, is the way he acts, and he's very funny too. He honestly, this episode was very Joker centered. Like, there's not like he caused a lot of mayhem, and Gordon was always one step behind. It's funny because like when he was lighting the cheerleaders on fire, he's like, "Does anyone have a lighter?" Yeah, I'm gonna give you a light to like kill myself. But he was funny, and even at the very beginning of the episode, it just like they were throwing bodies off the building one at a time, and Joker's like, "Yep, 1, 2, hold on, position him to the left, to the right,
and push."
Yeah, he's very. If you have to watch it, and you'll see what you mean, like the point I'm trying to get across. And then also another part that the Joker did was the very end. Oh my god, the ending was really what gave the episode. I gave the episode a 10 out of 10 because of this. The very end, you weren't really expecting it. The police are just trying to scramble, trying to stop him, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, Barbara goes in there, leads Gordon to this alleyway, and one of the maniacs, his name's Adrian, I believe, the cellmate, and he beat the shit out of Gordon, like, pummeled him, and Gordon was passed out. And then the Joker and the other part of the maniacs went in and they killed every cop in the station, including the new commissioner. And then he is really ruthless, and he's very funny too. But like I said, it hasn't been like totally clarified that he is the Joker, because they call him Jerome in the show. But the way he laughs, the way he acts, you can tell he's a Joker, which is why I feel like Gotham, like I was saying last week, is using him as kind of like the Joker is more of an idea than just one man. I feel like Jerome isn't necessarily a Joker, but he is the first Joker, and that is going to be passed on to another person. That's how I feel like it's going to be set up, because like I said, he's not confirmed to be the Joker, but you know he is from the laugh. That's the way he acts, which is very interesting to see how they're doing it. But nothing, like I said, he was one step ahead this whole episode. No new faces. Like I said, it was all about the Joker and Barbara and the Maniacs, and Gordon tried to stop them, and he couldn't. His partner Bullock came back. He actually quit, and he became a bartender. But after what happened at the police station, he realized that he needed to come back and stop these guys once and for all. And another interesting thing about the episode was Bruce. He fired Alfred. Alfred took a hammer, and they found the cave in the last episode from their father, and Bruce finally got the computers running, and Alfred said that he was too young to view this information, so he destroyed it.
He destroyed all the information?
And Bruce fired him, and I was very surprised because they have a very strong bond, but Bruce ended up finding him at the train station. They made up, and Alfred has finally agreed to help Bruce be ready for the time when he can read the information. And actually, a returning face was Lucius. Alfred actually asked him to keep tabs on what's going on with Enterprises and to help him fix the computer, because Lucius is like science. He's a science division of Wayne Enterprises, so that's going to be interesting. Like I said, no Penguin this week, which is kind of a little let down. At the same time, they're focusing a lot on the Joker right now. So that's about it for this episode, and we'll find out what happens in the next episode. And now moving on to the returning heroes. All
right, guys. Now we're going to be talking about the show Heroes, not the Heroes Reborn, but instead Heroes, which you have to deal with Claire Bennett, Peter Petrelli, Nathan Petrelli, Siler, all those people. Let me tell you exactly what happened last episode of Season 4, between now and Heroes Reborn to then. Basically, in Heroes Season 4, you had this guy named Samuel. He ended up having power of moving the earth, and he was very powerful when there was a lot of people that had powers around him. So Claire ended up basically telling everyone that had powers to leave because Samuel was using you, and gave a whole description as to why they shouldn't believe Samuel, as to he's not really the greatest. So at the end of the episode, Peter took down Samuel, and Claire did something very stupid. Claire ended up climbing up at the top of the carousel and jumping off and saying, basically, look at me, I did this. And she did this all in front of the newscast.
And then the season ended, and then the show was canceled after 4 years. So it kind of was like, oh my God, you're seriously going to cancel it? But now Heroes Reborn is going to continue the story, but through different characters now. And it was just premiered on Thursday, and they premiered both episodes 1 and 2. And I will go into those.
I'm going to go because I haven't seen it yet, and he's going to tell you guys about it.
All right. So basically, Heroes Reborn starts off 5 years after Heroes Season 4. And basically, since Claire revealed that there are people with supernatural abilities, the world is pretty much scared of them. And then a year ago from Heroes Reborn, there was a terrorist attack, meaning there was a human and now they're calling them Evos. There was a human and Evo conflict, and a lot of people died, including Claire. Claire actually, they're saying, according to her father, in episode 1, Noah, said that she died and a bunch of others died, so that explains why a lot of the characters are different in Reborn. But there are some returning characters as well. But I'm going to break down the episode. For new characters, you have Luke Collins and Joan Collins, and they're humans, but they're vigilantes, and they've been killing the off-Evos in revenge because their son died on that terrorist attack on June 13th. So they're going around trying to kill as many Evos as they can, and that in episode 1, they ended up trying to get Tommy, who they met with in a group. They pretended to be Evos, and then Tommy left early because of his mother, and they ended up killing the whole group that they were with, and then they tried to go after Tommy, and he teleported them to a facility. And that was in episode 1. Tommy likes his girl Emily, and he's kind of just trying to figure out his power. Like he realizes that his powers are dangerous, and he's always on the move because people keep discovering that he's an Evo. Because now people know nowadays that there's Evos, unlike Heroes where they were unknown. Some other newcomers is Miko. Miko, her storyline is very different. She was revealed to have the power of becoming a samurai through a video game, and she's actually looking for her father, and she has to find her father in the video game. And it's crazy because a fan of the video game that's related to her powers comes to her and says that she has to unleash a sword, and she did, and that's how she got into the video game. So at the end of the first episode, you find her actually being integrated into the video game, trying to find her father. Another storyline is going on in Heroes is in Mexico. Carlos and Jose. Now Jose is a young boy, and he's been asking a lot of questions about this vigilante that's running around to stop fighting the corrupt police in Mexico. Jose has just realized that he has the power to walk through walls. Towards the end of the episode, he ended up putting his hand through a stand. Now Carlos is his brother, and his uncle. I'm sorry, Carlos is his uncle, and Jose's father, Oscar, was the vigilante fighting off the corrupt police. And then when Oscar died of his wounds from a fight, he asked Carlos to continue on the name, and he's contemplating in episode 1, and he's thinking about it, but he's not sure yet if it's the right move. Actually, returning character Noah Bennett, he actually has returned, but he's in a different life. He's got a new wife. Like I said, Claire is gone, so he doesn't have to really worry about that. But now, this conspiracy theorist, Quentin Frady, has come to him and said that his company is planning something, and that they're a different company now. And now Noah goes to the Haitian, and the Haitian actually tries to kill Noah. And because evidently Noah told the Haitian to kill him if he asked questions, and then the Haitian erased his memory. So now Noah's trying to figure out what's going on. What is this big thing that his former company is doing? And that was episode 1. And then episode 2, Tommy ends up trying to help Emily's boyfriend get rid of her stepfather. But you find out that there's a man who has this coin, and he seems to like make you forgets things. He seems to be protecting Tommy. They haven't really like clarified who he is yet, but he's out for Tommy's best interest, and we don't know why yet. So that works with everything. Luke and Joan, they're still trying to figure out where they are after Tommy teleported them, and they ended up in this room, and they break out and they discover they're in the facility they used to be Noah's old work. They end up killing everyone in the facility, and then they escape with a list of all the Evos. Now they have every Evo and they can track them, so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen to them in the coming weeks. Noah finds out that the company it has its own goals and achieving something, and it's going to be through Molly Walker. And Molly Walker is older now. She is a young girl. She was a young girl in Heroes. But in Heroes Reborn, she's older and she's on the run. And at the end of this episode, you find out that she's a main part of this story. But they do capture her. Whoever, a Evo actually working for the company captured her. So we're going to find out what happens to her at the end of that episode. Carlos finally took up the mantle, and he's been asking the police about certain things. And then he finds out that his brother Oscar was actually running an underground railroad for Evos and taking them somehow underground and just to lead them to Canada. And at the end of the episode, he takes a group of them and like a woman and her daughter, and they go through the railroad, and he's thanked, and so he's become a vigilante. Not much about Jose in this episode. That's really about it. And Miko, she's actually still trying to find her father, and the fan that was with her is actually helping him through a second player, basically, and she's the first player. But the cool thing about the end of the very end of this episode with her storyline was she put the sword back, and she ended up being in a building, and she was surrounded by police, and then the episode ended with the credits with her fighting them. So we're left unsure as to why she was taken there, and why, and basically like how is this relevant? I mean, like there's a lot of answers still to be filled, and there's also episode 2 actually hints to Claire actually being alive still and being taken somewhere. Her status is unknown according to Noah's company's files. And him and Quentin are just basically figuring out what to do from there. And that's really about it. I gave both episodes about an 8 out of 10, and I'm excited to see how episode 3 will pan out next week. We're actually going to be moving on from our geek category. We're going to be talking to you about some tech news. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so now on to our tech category. So now we're going to actually start off with the new iPhones. They came out last week, the iPhone 6s and the iPhone 6s Plus. Honestly, they're not that much different than the 6 and the 6 Plus, honestly. Like, they're a little bit thinner. Like, I think they're like 0.1, each phone is 0.1 thinner than like, say, the 6 and the 6 Plus. That's really it. 3D Touch actually made it integrating a lot better, especially for gaming. 3D Touch gaming.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Like a lot of the apps now are more like. I'll show you here.
Do you have such a screen, or is it just?
They're like in your face. Like
like the 3DS.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, it's like right there. It's 3D. It's like watching a 3D movie, but it's your phone.
Very cool.
So that's a big thing for it. It's actually faster than the 6S and than the 6 Plus and the 6. Both the 6S and the 6S Plus run off an A9 chip, and the 6 and the 6 Plus only run off A8, so it's faster in that aspect. You actually get it in different colors now instead of the 3 different colors. You can get like ruby red now.
That's really
certain
nice.
kind of gold. The photos are live. You can capture live photos, almost like Harry Potter.
Oh, like how they showed in the commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. The camera is actually a little bit stronger. Actually, the videos now run off 4K.
It's not 10. Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
1080.
1080p is too low now.
And it's 4K now, so it's even better. And also another thing, the pictures now, instead of 8 MP, like the 6s, for the 6S's, the models, is 12 MP, so it's a lot more clear than it already is.
Very cool.
Like this camera right now is running off a 6 Plus, and it's actually clearer than what you're seeing right now. Can you imagine clearer than that? Because it's a pretty good camera as it is.
You can like see all his facial hair and see all my facial hair.
It's better than that, which is crazy. And then also it has wider LTE and faster Wi-Fi signals. So other than that, it's the same phone really. But like I said, like if you really just want a 6 and a 6 Plus, you can get it. But if you really want 3D touch and all that, and live pictures, I recommend getting one of these models.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Is it true? I've heard about this. I don't know if it's actually true, but the Verizon AT&T, they're actually taking your iPhone 6s or 6 Pluses. I don't know if it's the same with
I did hear about that. I'm not sure the full extent of like how that's all set up, but I did hear that like, if you turn in your older model, they could give you a new one.
But there's a fee.
There's always a catch because even with upgrades now, like my new phone, I still have to pay the full amount for the phone because I'm on a large family plan. So in the end, so the contract didn't really work for me, but I needed a new phone. So like I said, 3D touch, live pictures if you want those phones. Google actually announced new phones. I believe it's going to be the Nexus 5X and the Nexus 6P. We don't really have any details on it. Because it was just announced, but you can get the 5X, I believe, 16 gigabytes, and then for some reason I didn't see any other brand models for it when I was looking at IGN. Also for the 6P, I believe, has 16, 64, and 128, which is what I was looking for the 5X. I don't know why they don't have it, but they have it for 6P, so maybe you can only get the 5X with that. I think you can store your own RAM, so who knows, maybe you can do your own thing. But we'll see how it works later on when they announce more details. Also, for all you Sony gamers, PlayStation 4 firmware 3.00 has been released yesterday. It actually adds 10 gigabytes of online storage, so if you want to save your game, save data through another source, you can use that. You can actually now play your games you can broadcast them live through YouTube. So it actually sends the video through YouTube, and while you're playing it live.
That's very cool.
And once you finish recording it, it's right there for you. That's what it's supposed to do. There's a new thing called events. It's like gaming events. So it keeps say everyone wants to play an event in Destiny or an event on Call of Duty. They have a thing for that now. You can actually now favorite your own groups that you watch. Say if you're watching on Twitch, you can favorite the groups that really stand out to you.
Like the app on the phone.
Yeah, it's a lot more they added a lot more social aspects with this update. Share to Twitter. You get stickers now with messages. I think as of now, you can also say your friend has a game that you don't have. You can your friend can allow you access to play that game for a brief moment of time. I did hear something about that. Yeah.
Oh, like how we did with the PlayStation 3.
Yes. Cool. PS4 now, you can actually, if you and your friend have the same game and you go to his video, you can actually play the game through there as long as you have the disc in there or as long as it's downloaded into your system. So, pretty cool. It came out yesterday. Mine's actually updating right now as we speak.
Oh, I didn't do mine yet.
Yeah, so it takes a little bit for sometimes. It usually says you must update to use these features. But can't wait to check it out. What else we got for you? We also have some tech specs on the new Tesla. Shannon, go over that with you.
The new Tesla X. This car, honestly, is a very pretty car, being that it's an SUV. As of what it is for at least $132,000. Do you have that kind of money?
No, that's to buy, but I think it was $75,000 to lease. It was on their site.
They do have a lot of great specs I actually want to go over with you. Is for one, it can hold 7 passengers, but it's like a minivan type deal. You can have 2 passengers in the front, the driver and the passenger, 3 people in the middle, but you can just take out the middle seat and be able to just have 2 people in there and 2 people in the back. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so you can change seats around the order. It's pretty awesome.
One thing I actually really liked, it brought back the old style of cars. They actually have the Falcon wing doors there in the back. Very cool. What did you think of that picture?
It was pretty awesome. I saw it on the site they have for the car. What was the site called?
I'm not entirely sure, but we will put that down in the description below, exactly where we got that from.
Yes. But yeah, the doors were pretty cool, the way it was all spread out like that. Also, you have underseat storage. So your seats are kind of like, what do you call it, airplane?
Yeah, airplane seats.
So you can kind of like store your bags. It's pretty awesome. You have more storage.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little car, but it has like everything you need, like in a minivan.
The engine.
There's 2 engines.
One engine, the front engine, it goes 259 HP, and then the rear engine.
That's for the P90D. There's 2 models.
Yes, sorry.
And the back for the P90D is 503.
500.
Yes.
That's still really good.
Yes.
That's actually great.
P90D, the mile range, 250 for like the maximum, and it can reach up to 60 mph in 3.8 seconds, which is very impressive.
What's the top speed?
155 miles per hour.
Oh, there's also actually one of my favorite features in this car that I didn't even know was with it until recently. They actually have this panoramic windshield where you're actually able to see the the night sky a lot better, see the stars, rather than having just like little dots and your...
Yeah, it kind of like nature is like...
right in your face.
In this new window. But, yeah, if you want to get that kind of car, hopefully you have $132,000 or for at least $75,000, but I would get that if I had the money.
Definitely, it's a nice car.
Yep. But now moving on, we're going to be talking to you about quite a few stories for music. And here we go. All right, so music news for this week. Quite a few stories. First off, Metallica. Some Metallica news. Basically, well, not news, but it's kind of a downer. Kerry King from Slayer, they were actually doing some shots with Metallica, and Kerry King asked him, "So what about that new album coming out?" This is all from Blabbermouth. And basically, Lars Ulrich said that, like, they're not rushing an album, like, and Kerry King said he himself now realizes he's not sure a new Metallica album makes sense right now, because they're touring and everything, and like they have so much material as it is. Like they're running off of 5 albums, really. The other ones are kind of they're okay. Like you had Load, Reload, Saint Anger, and then Deathmatic as well. But, you know, those were good albums, but, like, their first 5 are the best. And they're kind of just like, we're not rushing an album. Like, we're going to have a new album, but honestly, Lars Ulrich himself said to Kerry that he's not really, it's like, don't expect it anytime soon. Like, they're working on it, but, like, I guess that is kind of just up in the air because they're busy. They just had their first tour in Quebec soon, I believe. So from Metallica, Slipknot, Corey Taylor's always saying something, isn't he? This is funny. This is from Livewire. He says he would retire from touring, and if the Guns N' Roses reunited the classic lineup.
I'm sorry, what?
He would retire. Like he wouldn't. Like if there was tours, he would cancel all his tours, and he would follow them around.
Oh my God!
He would go to every concert because it's once in a lifetime, and he loves Guns N' Roses. He specifically praised Appetite for Destruction. It's a very good album, probably the best album made by them. But he was freaking out about it. He said that because he's a huge Guns N' Roses fan, one of his biggest influences, and if that did happen, like he would tour and go everywhere. So if they ever do reunite, keep an eye out for Corey Taylor. I'm pretty sure he'll be there. Some good other news. All That Remains, another good metal band. They actually parted ways with their bassist Jeanne Sagan, and she's the girl bass player of All That Remains. She nothing too big. Nothing really happened. She just felt like that chapter of her life is closed, and she wants to move on to other things. But they are going on tour for their new album, For All the Order of Things, their 7th album. And Aaron Patrick, he played for Lamb of God and Bury Your Dead. They're going to start their tour with We Came as Romans, October 14th to November the 1st. Oh, the 7th, I'm sorry. But they're touring soon. Keep an eye for them. Danny Worsnop, actually, the former singer of Asking Alexandria. Nothing big. But it was an article. He actually made his acting debut.
Acting debut?
Yes.
Oh God.
He's actually an actor. He was in something else, but like they actually came to him after he canceled his tour with Asking when he left. To do this movie called The Smith. So we'll see how that turns out for him because Danny would let the band like I can't explain it. Danny's like Axl Rose in a way. He's bringing the band down, and because I've seen them. He's always went on the stage drunk, and he's always cursing at his fans, criticizing them. You don't need that. You're gonna lose your fans doing that. But they have a new singer now, so it's whatever. And he's starting. He has his own band, We Are the Harlot. But he's actually doing, if you're interested, his own solo album is actually going to be country, which is going to be very interesting.
What?
Yeah, from screamo to that, right? Speaking of Guns N' Roses from Corey Taylor, the current guitarist Richard Fortus was injured in a motorcycle accident, so he will not be performing on some of the Australia and New Zealand shows. I'm surprised he's actually alive from all the injuries I've read from Blabbermouth. Broke his shoulder blade, he broke his collarbone, 6 ribs, a toe. He has a collapsed lung and a concussion, and he's still alive. But just you to know, they have someone else, Richard Leslie. He will be playing. He's basically replacement for him until he gets better, and I hope speedy recovery. That's the current lineup of Guns N' Roses, not the classic, unfortunately. Another one, Jesse Leach. He's lead singer of Killswitch Engage. He just reunited with them, and they made their album Disarm and Descent, and it was very good. I mean, number 7, according to Blabbermouth, in a lot of countries. But this is their next album, their 7th album. For some reason, Jesse Leach is having a very hard time with making this new album. He says that when he goes to jot down like lyrics, or he can't really express his feelings, like he says that like the world's changed him and all this, and it's for some reason that this is the hardest project he's ever had to do in regards to lyrics. So I don't know if that means that the album's gonna be delayed, but it was basically his thoughts and feelings about how he's been staying up and he's just been getting nowhere with this new album for some reason. We hope moves along smoothly, because good band. And what else we got? Oh yeah, Korn. All you Korn fans out there, you should be happy to hear this. They're 3/4 done with making their new album, and it's supposed to be very heavy. It's supposed to be heavier than most of other stuff, even their first album. Speaking of which, if you're interested, Korn will be doing a tour, and they're going to be playing their first album, self-titled, all the way in its entirety on certain dates. This is all said by the 2 guitarists, Monkey and Head. I guess as they have nicknames on stage, like they have their own names, and on stage it's Monkey and Head. They're a good band. I've seen them. They have a very different style about them than a lot of other metal bands, but they're very heavy, and I hope the album works out for them, and it's been great. The headlining story I found was there was a very big 5-finger death punch dispute in Memphis, unfortunately. In the middle of the show, about halfway through the show, the band members walked off the stage, except the singer, Ivan. Ivan stayed on, and it was a disaster. What happened was, I guess throughout the years, Ivan has been a partier. What band doesn't, but his band members said the alcohol has been getting to him. Like, he's been partying too much, making stupid calls, and it just wasn't helping. And what happened on this tour, or this show, is that he got shit-faced drunk, and there was something going on with their equipment. Like, they were using wireless equipment, so it was kind of going in and out, and Ivan Moody lost it. Like, he legit was cursing up a storm, and then he was arguing and then him and Jeremy Spencer, the drummer, were even arguing about this whole alcohol thing. So on top of that, he's taking his frustrations on Jeremy, and Jeremy left. So the rest of the band members, Zoltan Balatrov and Jason Cook, the guitarist, and the bassist Chris Cale, well, we can't play without a drummer, and they left. And Ivan Moody was up there by himself with his hands in his pockets in front of 20,000 fans, waiting to see 5-Finger Death Punch, and
it did not even happen.
It didn't happen. He did it. He shouldn't have freaked out like that. But they did say in the interview that there's no breakup or nothing. As Ivan Movie said, that this band is honestly like a marriage. They've been together 10 years, and they're not going anywhere. They've had their disputes, but he realizes that he's made a mistake, and that it's the band that makes the music, and he lost sight of that. So hopefully he gets his stuff straightened out, and I hope the best for them. We have few fun facts for you as well. Actually, for tech as well. We'll let you know there's the Star Wars Battlefront beta will be going live on October the 8th, so check that out. That'll be just about, I think, next week. And there's a new DLC for The Witcher. You can check that out as well. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but it says that it's coming out soon. I think it's something with the characters. I think the new Game Informer actually clarified a little bit on it. Something to do with girl characters, so we'll see how that plans out. Oh, actually, and one more thing for a fun fact. Chris O'Donnell, I don't know if you know him. He's actually the actor who played Robin in the original Batman series. He actually, yeah. Actually, let me ask you this, Shane. He actually stated who his favorite Batman was. Who do you think it was, Shane? Actor-wise. You have Christian Bale, you got Michael Keaton, you got Val Kilmer, you got George Clooney, you got Adam West. Out of those, who do you think he likes the most?
Adam West.
Yes. He's a big fan of the 1960s Adam West Batman. And honestly, I do. That's the most classic Batman you'll ever get. Honestly, that show depicts Batman in the comics from the 30s because it's very cartoony, very like not as dark and sinister as these new ones coming out. But that's all we got for you today. We hope you enjoyed it. We will be back next week for episode 4. So comment, like, subscribe, and thank you again. This is Jake.
Shane.
From GTRU. Have a good night.
Alright guys, this is our 3rd episode. We basically wanted to say to you that if you have not seen our other 2 episodes yet, please do not forget to check them out. Also, our 2 other episodes, which were just sub-episodes, having to deal with the top 10 favorite games. We will actually be making another one next month in October. Do you have anything else to say?
No. We're still figuring out the top, like, what we're going to do next, but like I said, every month we'll be doing a top 10 category. And like I said, comment, like, subscribe all our videos. Really hope you enjoy them. We'll be making more, getting more news as we go on. Thanks again.
Alright, that's it. Have a great one, guys.